Good morning. Today we're going to be reviewing for our quiz this week, and we do have a big chapter test coming up before Thanksgiving here in the next few weeks as well. And it'll cover mostly this type of stuff. All right, so let's see how we're going to do. First topic was slope-intercept form, and we're going to be writing the equation from a graph. And to do so, we need to find two things. We need to find the slope, and that would be our rise over run. To do that, we need 2 points on the graph. And then we also need our b, our y-intercept. And that's really easy to do, so we're going to do that first. So the y-intercept is the place where the graph crosses this y-axis here. It looks to me like it's crossing right down here at -3. So that means in my final answer, where I'm going to have a y equals m, which I don't know, and then x, and then plus b, well, that b is a -3 that I just found. I just need to find this number, the m. If this was a multiple choice question, you could already eliminate all the answers that don't end in the -3. All right, so now let's find slope. To find slope, we need 2 points on the graph that we're crossing in a corner, so we can count whole numbers. We don't want to count half of a box. So if I follow that line until it looks like it crosses another corner, and it looks like it hits the corner right there. So now I can do my rise and run. So my rise, it looks like I went up 1 space. And my run, I went over to the right 2 spaces. If I'm looking at this graph from left to right, it's headed in the upward direction, so this has a positive slope. So I know that this 1/2 fraction is definitely positive. I can go ahead and put it into my answer, and I am done. 1/2 x minus 3. All right, again, that's the first part of your quiz, and again, a huge part of your chapter, so they'll expect you to know how to do this at least a little bit. All right, next thing we talked about was standard form, ax plus by equal to c. And that doesn't have as many obvious parts as for graphing as the last formula did, but it looks prettier. The x's and y's are together. There's an answer equals 12, so it just looks nicer. And for graphing, we talked about what's called the cover-up method. So to find the x-intercept, what I'm essentially going to do is take the original equation and cover up the part that has the other letter in it. I'm going to cover that part up and just solve the leftovers. That would mean just a simple divide by 4 on each side, and I have an x-intercept at 3. For the y-intercept, I'll do the opposite. Take the same original equation and just keep the y part. Throw away the x. And then solve the leftovers. -6y equals 12. So for this one, I'd have to divide both sides by -6, and I'd end up with y equal to -2, and there's my y-intercept. So nice for graphing, because now all I have to do is, on the x-axis, go over to 3, on the y-axis, go down to -2, and I draw my line. So it makes a nice, easy shortcut for graphing from standard form if you can find those intercepts. Third of our formulas was point-slope form. A little ugly, but really, really easy to just plug numbers in for this type of question. So in point-slope form, what we're really looking to do is we're looking to replace the y1, the m, and the x1 with actual numbers. And we know what those numbers are, because we have a line with the slope of 2/3. So my m number is that 2/3. And it's through the point -2, -5. Well, that's the x1 comma y1. So I now know my x1 number, and I know my y1 number, so I'm going to plug them all in. So again, y minus. Now my y1 number goes in next, and that was a 5. And then equals m. That's a number they've also given me, the fraction 2/3. And then parentheses, x minus. Now my y1, or my x1 number, which was a -2. So you can see here in the middle, right here, there's 2 minus signs next to each other. Minus sign that was part of the formula, that's in blue, and a minus sign that was part of the -2, which is in red. And those 2 minus signs will work together to act like a plus. And now you're done. Y minus 5 equals 2/3 x plus 2. Relatively easy. You just got to plug some numbers into the right spots and mess around with a little bit of negative signs here and there. But again, not too much work. Now the last one, the advanced level question, this is the one where it has lots of work. Multiple steps using multiple different formulas. But again, that's why it's an advanced level question. So we're going to write the slope-intercept form of a line that goes through these 2 points. First thing I want to do is find the slope. To do that, I need to know that my x1 and y1 are the first ordered pair together, and that my x2 and this y2 come from the second ordered pair, and they're listed together. So I'm going to subtract these in this little fraction, and those negative signs are always there. So let's plug in some numbers. First off, the y2 number, which is -6, and then minus the y1 number, which was 3. Then denominator, x2 number, which was 2, minus the x1 number, which was -1. And there it is again, a double minus sign, going to act like a plus. So that means I'm going to end up with -9 in my numerator, and 2 plus 1, which is 3 in the denominator. And of course, I want to be treated like an adult. I want to be treated like I'm grown, so I reduce fractions. If you want people to treat you like a little kid, then leave that fraction unreduced, because that's what third graders would do. So anyway, you're high school. Time to reduce fractions. So -9 over 3 reduces down to the whole number -3. It's just a division. Remember, fraction bars are just division. Fractions are just division that doesn't work. That time it worked, so no fraction. All right, now point-slope form. Let's plug those numbers in. So again, if you remember, point-slope form was y minus my y1 coordinate. My y1 coordinate was 3, equals m. We just found that a second ago, -3. And then x minus my x1 coordinate, which was back up here at the start, a -1. And there it is again. 2 minus signs together act like a plus. Now the third step, converting it to slope-intercept form. That means forcing that mess to look like this. Y equals mx plus b. And what makes that special is that the y is all by itself. So let's get the y by itself, but before we do that, we have to always do parentheses. So I'm going to first have to multiply out the distributive property to get rid of those parentheses on the right. So that means -3 times x, which makes -3 times x, and then -3 times 1. I can do that. Those are numbers. -3 times 1 makes -3. And then last but not least, let's get that y by itself. So let's get rid of that -3 that's over there with it. And I'm going to do a +3 on both sides. Y equals, and then -3x just comes down, and then 3 and -3, oh wait, those cancel also, or make a 0. So you could put +0 if you wanted to, but I would prefer that you didn't write +0. And we just stop right here with our final answer. Again, a little bit more advanced, but definitely on your chapter test, your quiz, definitely on things like ISTEP and ASVAB and SAT. And if you don't know what those are, you'll learn about them over the next few years of high school. Those are all tests you'll have to properly take before you leave this place. All right, this is it for your test and your quiz tomorrow. Good luck.